Hey everyone, I'm Kalle, one of the founders of Grid & Go and also one of the developers behind the Virtual Coach. Within this tutorial video, I will show you how to set it up, how to download it, how to install it, whatever you need to get started with it. Have fun! Okay, before we get started with the setup, I want to give you a very short overview of what you can do with the Virtual Coach and what you can expect from it. So basically, how I think of the Virtual Coach is it is a toolbox enabling you to practice more efficiently, but in the way you like. So if you look at a friend and he's using the Virtual Coach, he might prefer it in a completely different way than you would practice with it. We have different overlays which will be covered in future tutorial videos, how you use it, when you use it, and how to read it correctly. This video here only is for the setup and getting the installation done correctly. Beside the overlays, you also have different lessons, we call it, like this is where the voice output is active, so that the Virtual Coach tells you what is the next turn, what gear to use, or also maybe what you did wrong in the last turn. Besides that, you also have the beeps we introduced like 2.5 years ago in the very first version, where it just beeps when you need to brake, when you need to start acceleration again. And new in this version here is the replay player you can see here, which we will also shortly cover within this video, where you can in sync to your replay in the background see what you did good and what you did wrong and analyze your driving further. Yeah. Okay, now let's really get started with the install and setup. Okay then, let's go to the G&G web app where you find the Virtual Coach tab, and there you can download the version 3. You just click the download button. Do not go for the old version anymore. It's not worth it in 99% of the cases. After you then downloaded the Virtual Coach, you just go here and in your download folder, you unzip the zip file, double click the setup exe, wait for it to come up, and then you will need to log in. To log in, surprise, you click the login button and then just wait. So when it stops spinning here, and then a few more seconds and your Virtual Coach will pop up in a LinkedIn state. Before booting up iRacing, let's go through the most important options and also where to update the Virtual Coach. So to update, you click on the version number here, click check, and then you would just click download new version and install it if you would like to update. Other than that, the most important settings to check if you just installed it is select display and select the audio output device. Make sure they are correct so that the overlay shows up on the right display and you hear the sounds. To check the sounds, just move the slider of the beeps and you will hear a pre-beep basically. For the voice, this function is not there, but if you hear the beep, everything is set up correctly. Yeah, if you have performance issues, disable hardware acceleration can help in some cases. If not, open a support ticket and enable the debug logging so that I have something to work with to help you getting the performance up again. To edit the layouts, one important thing, check if auto start overlay is active. Otherwise, you need to click open layout as soon as the session is up and running each time. And I don't like that, some prefer it. But yeah, anyways, so go to layouts, either add a new one or edit the existing default one. You can add new overlays with this drop down here. For example, if you want to see the turn rating, you can edit. It shows up, you can remove other ones, set all the settings you need, and very important, you can set the session times, or you need to set them, because if there is no layout with a matching session type, then no overlay will show up when you're in iRacing, even if you have the auto open overlay option active. So for example, I want to use this one only for offline testing and practice sessions. I then go to edit positions. I can then set up the positions of my overlays, resize them if needed, and click done when I'm done. Click save to save the layout. If you want to edit the colors, you can freely do so. Have fun with that. It's really quite some work, but if you want a unique design, or you may want to edit the colors to view them better, go through here. If you have a really cool design, send me a screenshot, send something in the Discord. I'm eager to see it. Like, really, if you go through that, could be cool, but it's also a lot of work. The same options what you can see in the telemetry overlay you have here for the replay player, by the way. So in the replay player, if you want to see speed as well, then you can activate it here. Okay, then let's boot up iRacing, which I already did in that window here. When opening a session or joining a session within iRacing where you want to use a virtual coach, you need to make sure that the conditions within that session are as close as possible or identical to the conditions in the data pack. So I always recommend to really use an identical offline test session so that you really can concentrate on getting better and not only race around with others while hearing the beeps or something, because then you will not really learn from it. You will just use it in the background. And okay, just to go over it quickly, select static weather, check that the date is correct here, and also go through all the cloud cover, track moisture, temperature, wind speed, and humidity settings. Very important, don't forget the wind direction makes a big difference depending on the on the track, and also the humidity. Do not make the mistake and go over the middle, because then you get the fog. Also, we often get the questions for the track conditions. Do not leave debris on track, and do not generate the track state, but set it to 50 or 57%. Then if you set these up all correct, you're done and we can join the session. I started iRacing within an offline test session, and now before we can really start using the virtual coach, we need to select a reference lab. This is basically the data which is included in each data pack, which then is used by the virtual coach to compare to your telemetry, make decisions on what to change first, and so on. So we need to load it, select the data pack we want. If there are multiple, you can select whichever fits your current situation best. And as soon as this is loaded, you also see the track map is showing up in the replay analyzer, and you basically can just start driving. You see the overlays show up, which are selected in the layout on the position we set up earlier. It changed here because you couldn't see it before. But and then you can start driving and using the overlays. If you want to use the beeps or one of the lessons, you go to the reference labs detail page, click on details here if you're not already on that page, and then you can activate the beeps or the lab guide or the turn coaching. One specific thing to do as well is, if you want to use the turn coaching, you need to select a focus turn afterwards. It is built so that only one turn at a time is given feedback for, because otherwise it's mostly a bit overwhelming. So you can select it here, or you can use the marker button. If you want to use the marker button, here's how to do it. This thing enables you to set and change the focus turn on the fly. And to do this, you go to the settings here, best click on search for mark, and then mark event in telemetry is the key binding to use for that. If you have it set, you can use it in or near any turn, and it will set this turn then as a new focus turn for the following laps to come. If you do it early enough or shortly in front of the turn, you will also get feedback already for the current iteration. Okay, with that now set up, you then can just jump into the car and the virtual coach should also talk to you. Let's see.
Turn lesson is active. Please use the mark event in telemetry key binding to set a focus turn and start the lesson.
Yeah. Then you can start driving and practicing, more efficient than before, hopefully. Next, we will go through the replay analyzer, but for that, I also need to do a few laps here so that we have some data for that. I jumped out of the car now, and now I can show you the replay analyzer. First, you see the overview of the track and the turns you've driven in the lap, which is selected. The color is showing the turn rating. The turn number is here. You see the time difference within the corner and also the exit speed difference, because it's not only about the time in the corner, but also the exit speed, right? To not lose too much time on the next straight. You can just click on the turn you want to have a look at, and as a replay, you already see it jumps there as well. You can also jump through the laps or just click at the next or previous turn button up there. You will always see the telemetry in sync. You can use it to scroll through the turn if you want to. So you can scroll forward with the mouse wheel or backward like you want. If you want to have a look at a specific place in your telemetry, for example, where I stopped braking and where Jan stopped braking, I can just click here and it will go there. If I want to see where the creator was stopping to brake, I just click there. If I click with the right mouse button here, it just slow-mos to the place I want. Yeah, to get more into detail what I did wrong in which turn, I can then check the turn page. Here I see clearly that Jan carries a lot more speed into the corner. The acceleration point or the slowest point in turn is quite okay. And I see the difference in the rotation on the slowest point of the creator in this case. So furthermore, you can see KPIs here to just get some data as you would also see here, but for example, the entry speed, exit speed, minimal gear, and the minimum speed in the corner. If you now want to see like, okay, what did I wrong now? There's a video tab. You just jump to the turn you want to check. The video below will also jump to that point roughly. You click play and yeah, you just then see how the creator did the turn and can after that check how you did it. Beside that, you can also switch to the guide here. That will not jump to the right position, but you need to search through it. But you have it at hand if you want to have an explanation why something is driven as it is. Yeah, that should give you a good overview of the replay analyzer now. You can switch the cameras here. If you are in a call with somebody from the team and want to show something, you can also use the draw function. Left button is red, right button is blue. With escape or the exit button on the top, you can go out there. You can also step forward, step backward, or also forward to the next braking zone. Yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video and it will get you started in a good way with a virtual coach. We will have more videos for the other overlays, but more on that later. See you then.